Chapter 3. The group settled on the first option, finding plenty of comfortable space within the castle, and the next morning found them assembled outside Zecora's hut. The zebra herself stood just outside her doorway, regarding them with a warm, if sheepish, grin.
"That I don't ask you in, please forgive,"
she told them.
"Little room for so many where I live."
That's okay, Zecora.
Twilight said with a smile.
Actually, we just came by to ask if you knew of any structures in this area of the forest, besides your home and the castle.
Zecora thought a moment, then shook her head.
"Those two aside, my welcome guest, Ponyville is the next closest. Though when I first came to this wood, the hut, you see, already stood."
Cadence arched an eyebrow curiously.
This hut was already here when you first arrived?
The zebra nodded.
"It seemed abandoned, yet I delayed.
She then shrugged.
No one claimed it, so I stayed."
Twilight's eyes widened a bit, her excitement growing.
Did the former owner leave anything behind? A journal or something, maybe?
"One I'd not miss if I were blind.
The zebra replied.
And many potion recipes did I find. If a moment you'll give me, I'll bring it out for you to see."
On the Alicorn's nod, she turned and went back into her hut, returning shortly with a black leather-bound book. This one, however, was missing the gem from the front cover.
Thanks, Zecora.
Twilight took the journal from the zebra and started leafing through it, her grin growing as she read.
"Well?"
asked Shining Armor expectantly.
"Is it his?"
It sure is.
His sister replied.
Listen, Cell still believes my isolation will start having negative effects on my mind. I keep telling her she worries too much, but I suppose it's to be expected after Luna. She told me that she recently granted a tract of land just outside the forest to a farming family, suggesting that I try to get to know them, under an assumed identity, of course. Perhaps I'll consider it.
Whoa there.
Applejack interrupted her.
Granny Smith told us her daddy was given the land Sweet Apple Acres was built on by Princess Celestia herself. You don't suppose?
Twilight just smirked.
Does this answer your question? I saw the farm family's young filly. Apple, they call themselves. Out by the zab apple trees last night. I wonder if they'll be able to figure out the plant's peculiar growth pattern. Further on, he writes, a booming little town has built up just past the farm, thanks largely to the sale of the jam that young filly made from the zab apples. She gave me a sample last time I visited. It's quite tasty. I've been thinking lately that perhaps Cell was right. Perhaps I would do well to interact more with other ponies. I've been using an alias of Hermit Scholar when visiting the apples. Maybe I could alter that course slightly to a related endeavor. That's where it ends.
The Earth Pony Farmer returned the smirk.
Y'all thinking what I'm thinking?
We need to get back to Ponyville,
her Alicorn friend replied, grins coming into each pony's features. Twilight then turned back to the zebra.
Thanks again, Zecora. This was a major help.
"I help any way I might. I'm glad to do it, Princess Twilight."
Zecora waved as the group turned and headed swiftly back toward town. The door to the small cottage on the edge of Ponyville swung open at Twilight's knock, though no one was immediately behind it. It was as though the door had been left partly open and the knock opened it the rest of the way. Further in, Shadow Gray stood at the far side of a sitting room, pouring a cup of tea. 9 other steaming cups were set out around the room.
"You're earlier than I expected you."
He greeted his guests.
"Impressive."
You knew we'd find our way back here.
Twilight said more than asked.
"Indeed, and it is time I introduced myself properly."
The gathered ponies noticed that their host's voice no longer held its raspy edge. His cloak fell away, pushed not by teeth, hoof, or magic, but by the majestic wings that spread from beneath them. He rose to his full height, showing that his hobbled gait was simply a side effect of walking hunched.
"I am Prince Umbra, the Secret Keeper, the Shadow Walker, Prince of Hidden Knowledge."
All eyes widened at the next announcement.
"Princess Luna is my twin sister, making Celestia my elder."
The awe of the revelation wore off first, not surprisingly, on Pinkie Pie, who found her attention drawn to the prince's flank.
No offense, Prince Umbra,
she said.
but what does a daisy Pegasus have to do with keeping secrets?
It's not a Pegasus, it's a dragon.
Spike informed her.
And it's not dancing, it's fighting off others trying to take the secrets from it.
I was going to say it was an Alicorn,
Twilight interjected.
reaching for the secrets kept just beyond it.
Prince Umbra chuckled softly, glancing back at his cutie mark.
"Actually, none of the 3 of you are quite correct. It is in truth just a blob, no different than the result of spilling some ink on a parchment, then folding it in half and opening it again. It looks like something different to virtually every pony who views it.
So, you know everything every pony in Equestria tries to keep a secret?
Asked Applejack. Prince Umbra nodded, so she continued.
Well, then, this is gonna sound real disrespectful, but...
Feel free to speak your mind plainly, Miss Applejack.
He told her.
You are the element of honesty, after all.
Applejack took a deep breath, let it out in a sigh, then looked at the male Alicorn suspiciously.
Why didn't you tell no pony about Queen Chrysalis? Or where Discord hid the elements of harmony? Or where the hay T-Rex was hiding?
Yeah,
Rainbow Dash matched her friend's look toward the prince.
I'm pretty sure those little tidbits of info counted as secrets.
The answer to all three is the same.
He replied, his own expression growing a bit sheepish.
None of those you mentioned are ponies. My powers, beyond the occasional vague glimpse of the future, the greatest secret of all, only work on someone who is one of the three types of pony, 4 if you include alicorns, so T-Rex, Chrysalis, and Discord were utterly immune.
Cadence knew she had been captured and replaced.
Twilight put in.
But she wasn't keeping it a secret, at least not intentionally.
Umbra countered.
The fact that she had no one to tell wasn't her fault. In my own defense,
He continued.
I was fully aware of where King Sombra had hidden the crystal heart, and, posing as Celestia's advisor, sent a small team of infiltrators to retrieve it while Cell prepared the main strike against him.
He looked down at the floor, a hint of sadness and regret crossing his face.
To the best of my knowledge, they didn't survive.
We are honored that you chose to reveal yourself to us, Your Highness.
Said Cadence.
But I don't understand why it was so important that I find you.
That is easier to show than to tell.
The prince motioned to the cups around the room.
I believe that Princess Twilight is familiar with the Alicorn flashback potion.
Is that the one that Zecora gave me when Discord's plants were attacking the Tree of Harmony?
She asked. Prince Umbra nodded.
The cups contain an improved version, though it still requires Alicorn magic to initially enchant it. Any pony drinking it gains its effects. Further, if multiple ponies drink from the same batch, they have a shared experience.
You planning to come with us too?
Asked Rainbow, motioning toward the cup the male Alicorn had been pouring when they entered.
Your Highness.
She added sheepishly, suddenly remembering who she was talking to. The secret keeper chuckled, dismissing the slip of etiquette with a grin.
My cup contains tea only. I think I can safely say I was there the first time.
He took a seat, raising his cup to his lips magically and observing as the ponies and dragon sipped from the other cups.
We hope you've enjoyed this production of Chapter 3 of The Alicorn Prince, written by me, Neil Wolfe, also known as Parody and Burlesque. Voice and art credits can be found in the description below. Please feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Hey, Twilight.
Hi, Rainbow, what's up?
You remember that song Parody wrote about me a while back?
Yeah.
Well, he's at it again.
Oh, really? Who is this victim this time?
You.
Oh, dear. Parody, we need to talk.